could be something where the Mirana can kind of move around the map. He's eyeing off this middle lane for a gank. Not sure. It's an easy kill as you kind of mentioned earlier. Of course, with the fraction.
I came from the future.
Mirana may be kind of limited.
Ano nga, Chan, balitin ko
What she can do.
pagkaw niya sa south.
Like
Real aggression on top.
Yeah,
Something I want to talk about, right? Which is look at the map and look at how many
的
centuries.
效果，但是对面卡的话可以通过自己的分数的恢复，所以去一直消耗你，打你一个补给差。对，在你没有状态的时候，你不敢上来补刀的时候，或者说你回去吃大药的时候，那我就可以安安心心补一波不赢。
是的，中单冰雷卡应该也是目前这个版本为数不多的可以不出屏的中单。
Pues la gente suele respetar, ¿no? Los timings no suelen ser especialmente raros. Hay veces que sí que te puedes ir.
冰雷卡出屏的，
也有出屏的，对，相对比较少。
他碰到的情况是什么？非常。
Is gonna be able to slow down the game like they want to play for the late game, because if they don't manage to get farm on their calls, I really don't see how they're gonna match up in terms of the tempo.
And then when it comes to Fnatic, I mean, we talk about Obi Neon knowing what Fnatic's trying to do. I feel like it does go both ways though, because this is very much the draft we saw Obi Neon playing at the Singapore Major, and Fnatic, well, Death was the guy playing on the team at the time, so I guess part of me is thinking like, surely Death knows what to expect a little bit out of Obi Neon, right?
For sure, Death himself is quite a Prophet expert, and he also had quite a lot of understanding and discussions with Scam from the Singapore Major when TTM was playing this Prophet carry. But I think we have seen this Natsumi play Nature Prophet carry before, and it was not quite the same level as Prophet carry in my opinion. So yeah, I'm not sure. I think we're gonna have to see whether it can look as amazing as it did.
Already they're ignoring the creep waves and just going for the heroes here. Honeywell in some trouble. He gets kind of low without getting a battery assault off, so wrap around, and they're just trying to fight level 1 with this Blightstone. There is just relentless aggression coming from both sides.
The top lane should be pretty easy for Neon. I think it's gonna be like around 6-4, because they don't really have any way to deal with the Treants. They can't really kill it directly unless they use both spells, but that doesn't mean you're gonna win the lane if you just kill the Treants.
So far, Fnatic playing this lane better, it seems. So they've gotten a lot of harass up, already forced to south from the clockwork, and haven't had to use much regen themselves. So at least start has gone well for them. Take a look at some of these other lanes. Early pressure coming out. Raven looking for a level 2 kill on the level 1 Timbersaw, taking advantage of the early level. They just run down Timbersaw.
Yep, DJ on the IO added a level 1 overcharge just to have the attack speed to just hit the Timbersaw. And like I said, a Gyro IO that knows what they're doing, they have a pretty free lane against the Timbersaw.
I feel like I've never seen this before. Is this normal for IOs in this lane to go level 1 overcharge instead of the tether?
Depends on whether you feel like you will be threatened. If you feel like the opponent heroes are gonna harass you a lot and hit your carry a lot, you might have to go like a Ring of Regen and Hydras or something like that. And when you go more regen, you don't want to add your overcharge because your damage is low. But in this case, he added the bracer on the IO, level 1. That's why he went for the level 1 overcharge.
You can pick at some of the other lanes. We talked about the TA Invoker matchup, and Yopaj has 7 denies. What's going on here?
Skill get? It's okay, it's a warm-up game. It's the first game of the day.
But yeah, warm-up game, wake-up game. And you mentioned Chuan not known for his TA play. At least it's been maybe some time since he's really been playing this hero, because he did spend a lot of time in that off-lane role.
Yep. I think for Chen, at least for my impression, is that right now he's really emphasizing and focusing on a lot of team play and team aspects of the game. So I think it's sort of understandable if there are some areas where in his laning where he's not matching up completely. But I think as long as he does fine, it's good enough.
And yeah, that's the thing. He's going close to even. He's maybe slightly behind, like 60-40-ish right now. So it's not like he's getting crushed playing by any means.
Yeah, but with that being said, like he should be doing a lot better in this matchup.
Yeah. See how things kind of progress for him, taking a look at some of these other lanes. Timbersaw, you mentioned, going to get left alone early, and this could be something where the Mirana can kind of move around the map. Is eyeing off this middle lane for a gank. Not sure it's an easy kill, as you kind of mentioned earlier. Yeah, with the traction, and Mirana may be kind of limited in what she can do. Real aggression up top though. For now.
There's something I want to talk about, right? Which is look at the map and look at how many sentries Dire have on the map. This is something that I realized in this patch, where sentries are only 50 gold. The early sentries are super valuable in a macro sense, that you can just buy it and use it, and it brings a lot of like impact to your game. This Mirana, knowing that there's no ops around this area, allows him to play around this area and know that he's not being seen. And Janelle also bought a sentry to the ancient camp. At 2 minutes, he already did it. This is what I mean by Neon understand this ancient side a lot.
Yeah, so far Jab has been tied to the top lane, but you have to imagine that he'll be wanting to start sacking those Ancients fairly soon. Definitely like what we're seeing. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but it feels like a Mirana, even if you're just arrowing neutral creeps to get some farm and XP, you're still afraid. Like, TA mid has to play more cautiously, worried about that Mirana gate if you don't see Mirana.
Yep, exactly. You can't play, you can't trade as much as a mid laner, and that trading in mid is a big part of laning, of how to pressure your enemy. If you always play with like 100% HP and 80% mana, you're not going to pressure your enemy at all.
And the Dire sentry mid was actually blocking the TA small camp, so even denying like small bits of farm on Chuan's TA.
Yep,
all the little things.
Teams should really be studying how Neon use their sentries in the early game, because it's really, really clean.
Well, so far, not any kind of crazy aggressive plays, just arrows being thrown at neutral creeps. Meanwhile, Obi Neon just happy with the status quo of these lanes. But at the same time, Fnatic, all three of their cores are getting good farm. Are you feeling like this is favoring either team right now? There's no stacks being made for the Gyrocopter, but the lanes are being basically... Oh, mid lane, hold that thought. Arrow Gate coming in. The backup from DJ is there, so it looks like nobody's going to go down with the help from the IOTP. I mean, I guess, yeah, do you feel like these lanes right now favor either team?
Not really. I feel like the lanes are going... Other than the... I mean, the mid lane train is kind of doing better now. But I feel all the lanes are going as how they should. Maybe Death is getting a little bit too much. He's Death Sama, honestly. His laning is one of the best. Death fanboy here, sorry. But... I feel like not having stacks is really a huge issue though for Fnatic. Like, Jabs has this ward on his cliff in the triangle, but he hasn't used it to... So the concept of this ward, right, is so that as a Lion, you can go over there and you can stack the camps without being afraid of the clock. Or you can see if the clock is coming to block it and you can stun him before he reaches the camp, so you still get the stack. That's what we see like LGD Innocence do. And that's what I saw CTM do yesterday when he was battling against the clock. But Jabs hasn't stacked triangle a single time, and I feel like the TA already wants to clear some stuff soon, you know, like a big camp at least. Because he didn't even have a small camp to play with at the start.
Is that just because he feels like he has to keep protecting this Bloodseeker? Like, is the Clockwork Nature's Prophet just going to get a kill if he's left alone? Maybe we'll find out, because that's exactly what they kind of try and do right now. But no, Death he's at least fine for now with the level 4 base move.
Jabs went over to stack the big camp once. Agreeing on Death, but he looks fine.
Yeah.
Maybe this was a plan.
Bring protection.
Yeah, maybe this was the plan. We get Death says... Jabs maybe told Death that he wants to go stack, but Death said, wait for me to get my phase boots first before I start to leave. If not, my lane will be really hard. So... Fnatic has not deboarded the big camp, the ancient camp though, and that's worrying, I think.
Yeah. Something they've not even really been going for too many stacks on just yet, and with obviously TA who can farm it early on, and then Gyro who's more than happy to go farm it a bit later. A lot of potential farm that they are missing out on.
Oh, the Invoker made his first move. The bottom.
Yeah. Was scouted out. There was an observer board in the tree, so I believe they know, but he's going to look to turn around with the Ghost Walk and go back, but someone needs to defend mid. Chuan is just getting free damage on this tower, so yeah. If he's going to come in now, it's going to be coming in from the support Clockwork who leaves Nature's Prophet alone.
Yeah, that's the advantage of having a Nature's Prophet carry. You get to move freely on your supports, and worst come to worst, you can see what Natsume is doing. He's just farming a small camp.
At this point, they should be fairly aware that this Invoker is still trying to make a play, because he has not returned to the mid lane. Clockwork is kind of lurking around, getting as much XP as possible.
Yeah, very disciplined play coming out from Fnatic safely.
for OB Neon, very disciplined, safe play. Oh, they found the kill. It's going to be the Yanyo Clockwork. Jabs rotating in, but OB Neon abandoning the top lanes, leaving their support from mid for a little bit, have now brought the Invoker back, perhaps realizing that they're not going to be able to find any kind of a kill down bottom onto the Gyro or the IO.
The broom, guys. Oh, okay, Jabs found it.
The heroes have blessed me.
I'll take this extra damage.
Okay, at least Jabs deboarded the Ancient Camp now, and he double stacked the big camp and the Ancient Camp, so they're gonna start having stacks to play with. I imagine they're gonna farm it on the TA first, because the Gyro only has a level 1 flag, and it doesn't really have damage to clear it yet.
Denied.
See what OB Neon's next move is going to be. It seems like they're just going to leave Timber down bottom. It does seem like Fnatic are trying to at least bring enough heroes down here that if Timber goes for this T1 tower, they can punish him. They have the Lion down here as well, which is kind of the essential hero, I think, if they want to kill him, because that's going to be how you stop his Timber chain away.
Yeah, I kind of like the emphasis that Fnatic are putting on defending this tower, because giving a Timbersaw a bot lane tower at 9 minutes is going to destroy your map, because the Gyro is going to be forced at the top side of the map, but that's kind of where the TA wants to be as well. So you kind of have to hold your towers as long as possible, so you get to get enough farm on your heroes. Because they are essentially running like 2 pos ones with the TA and the Gyro.
And meanwhile, Clockwork was trying to make a move towards top on the Bloodseeker, but he has a really cool lane ward that actually kind of scouted it out. They put the sentry over where you'd expect the ward, but the ward is actually in his own lane.
Yep, Janelle warding is one of the best in C, in my opinion. And back when he was a pleb in Sterling Dragons, I used to schedule scrims with them just to fight against Janelle, because our team, and Dev was on the team as well with me at the time. Forgot what was our team name, but we literally only scrimmed Janelle's team at the time because Janelle was just so damn good, and we learned so much from watching him in our replays.
See where his next move is going to be. For now, he's just managed to leech a lot of XP. The position 5 Clockwork already level 5.5, but OB Neon going to make their move down bottom. They rotate the Nature's Prophet, they take a tier 1 tower, and they've forced the Gyrocopter back into his jungle, which is where those stacks really become important, because Raven doesn't really have a lane to farm, but the stacks are starting to pile up. They've got added stacks, the big camp, and Fnatic making him towards top. Smoke jabs on the Lion to try and take a counter tower. They need the TA here to, if they want to have the damage to take this tower, it feels like.
Yeah, but I think touching a tower at this point of the game is going to be a bad idea for Fnatic, because I don't think their heroes are ready yet. But this is at least some pressure. They just need to not get caught out and die on their heroes.
Is there anything they can do to deal with this Timbersaw at this point? He's level 9 with a hood. It feels like he's probably just not even worth ganking anymore.
I mean, they can kill him with... they need probably like 3 or 4 heroes, maybe, with the Rupture, the Gyrocopter, and the Lion as well.
Top lane. Yes. Gonna lose his mana. The hookshot follow-up is there with an arrow as well. They're gonna catch the Bloodseeker and bring him down with the help of the Battery Assault.
Oh, the Timbersaw TP top as well. They wanna start playing the top side of the map and contest the jungle. They do not want to let this TA clear these stacks freely. And this is really cool what Neon are doing. It's really smart.
And instead they go back to this top lane. They find Jabs behind the tower here. He's gonna get caught by a Cold Snap plus Urn. Very aggressive early game from OB Neon, knowing they don't have the farm advantage if they sit back and, you know, play in their jungle. That's something that heroes like Gyro and TA have on them, so they are all about going for these kills.
Yep, but Fnatic is also doing the wise thing of just splitting up their heroes and taking the farm on the elsewhere of the map, because they're not ready to fight just yet. The worst thing for Fnatic to do right now is if they tried to fight Neon at the triangle, they would just lose and maybe even lose all the stacks.
Those were the first kills OB Neon have gotten this entire game. It took 12 minutes for them to get on the scoreboard, so it's definitely Fnatic have done a very good job of avoiding these fights, and Raven has been kind of the big winner in this kind of passive game, because he is top of the net worth and free farming away with the help of DJ.
Yep, both teams are being really smart about their moves. The Timbersaw actually came over here and cleared all the stacks, so I imagine Neon is really happy with this. Smoke coming out from Fnatic though.
They probably want to play around this mid lane. They need to back up the TA who gets caught in a tornado EMP. There's the follow-up. Sean is going to get helped out by DJ's Eye. Can he heal him up enough? He's still alive. The Spirit Vessel charge ticking is not going to be enough, and Fnatic have turned this around and taken out the Clockwork. They want more. They're going to get A-Root on the Timbersaw, and they want CTM Scam manages to TP out of there, but a great turnaround.
Yep, it was not too sure. They thought that they could kill the TA, but it just needed that little bit more. I'm not sure if they lined up their spells perfectly, but a really crucial heal from DJ.
DJ saves his buddy there, and they're going to get rewarded with an early T1 tower, so I think the team that wants to kind of maybe sit back and farm a bit more, they're actually the ones who take a T1 mid earlier because of that successful team.
Yep, now I imagine Fnatic are gonna go back to stacking mode and stack every camp they can, because they are sort of strong right now. The Gyro already has a Maelstrom and a Blade of Alacrity. They can clear stacks, and if Neon come in, I think they can fight right now.
So mid lane, especially if they're able to like bait a fairly tanky hero. Like TA at this point, 1500 health with Refraction, fairly tanky, but here come OB Neon charging forward. They're going to find Death, and it looks like he is going to be the sacrifice. Has a 4-stop, so he's actually just going to be able to get out of there. Great early pickup against the Clockwork initiation. They're relying on this hookshot and arrow combo, and 4-stop is a great way to negate that.
Yep, it's not amazing for his own hero, but it makes a lot of sense for the game, right? Or how the game needs to play out. So Death is Zhao actually told me said something about Death, right, on an interview in
Ryan stabs. They get picked off at the bottom rune.
Yeah, I was saying, I remember Janelle saying something on an interview at the Singapore Major, and he said about Death that Death is his laning is really good, one, and number two, his item decisions. He puts a lot of thought into what he buys, and he consistently has good item choices. And I think we are seeing that here in the 4-star.
Because yeah, it feels like, you know, there are those players who just kind of usually go for the typical standard meta build and go through the motions, but yeah, seeing a rush on a 4-star, even against Clockwork, like this used to be what a lot of people did, but it has not really been as of late, so.
I mean, most players,
coming up from him.
They just opened up their shop, you know, they see what's on the right side of the screen, then they mini mo. They just buy whatever seems familiar, right? Most of the time, even for myself.
Yeah. I mean, if you've played a hero a bunch of times, you know how a certain item is going to improve your game, even if there's maybe a better item that could improve it. Down bottom, Ryan is set up for a relocate gank, and they're going to take out that Clockwork. Nice. They'll pick off, nothing too crazy, and it's a 2k goalie. OB Neon, despite not having the farming lineup so much, are actually doing pretty well in terms of the farm game, and it's pretty much entirely on this Mirana. Mirana has 5k net worth. Yeah, but he's channeling his inner core.
How did he get 5k net worth? I didn't even realize.
75 last hits. At 15 minutes, how do you get 75 last hits as a support? As much as the Invoker.
I think we're seeing it though, like when CTM chooses to farm on his hero a lot, which is what he's doing this game.
Nice 4-stop initiation. That's another way you can use that one. Death sends his Lion in for a Hex Impale. The Finger of Death is not going to keep him alive with a mech. It's enough damage and great pickoff, great initiation with the 4-stop.
Yeah, it's very creative. I was saying, like, when CTM farms a lot on his hero, I feel like the team in general starts to become quite passive, because as far as I know, CTM controls a lot of how they play, and he short calls a lot, and he's very active usually. And I feel like in general, I kind of get the feeling that Neon is a little passive this game after they took the triangle stacks. I don't think they've done, after they felt that they botched that initiation on the TA mid, right? They haven't really done anything with this Vessel on Invoker, this Nature's Prophet Witchblade, which are considered item timings.
They're smoked up, they're looking to perhaps use these item timings a little later than we expected. As they head towards the top lane, looking to make a play. They're in this up with the Moonlight Shadow. Jabs has a sentry, but it's too late. Can't get up any spells because of the Cold Snap. They take out the line. They definitely want to go for more here. Onryu in some trouble here with the Rupture. He doesn't get away, but the Cogs could actually protect him here. He's tanking himself up, has the 1 charges in. Now the chase is on. Natsumi's teleported in very aggressively, and he's going to go down because of it. The Deathly Blast coming just a little bit too late to save his life. Unreal and the Timbersaw doing a hell of a lot of damage here with the Spirit Vessel on the Eye, stopping a lot of his healing. Next up could be Raven. Raven, he wants to turn and fight, and with Chuan with the double damage on TA, there's just too much damage. He wants 1 or 2 more right clicks. It's not enough. Didn't have the Meld Strike. He didn't have the mana for it, or he may have taken out that Timber.
Yep, the fight didn't start that well for Fnatic because their Lion died immediately, but luckily for them, Train had a DD rune bottle, so that DD rune actually gave them a fighting chance in the fight. Natsumi as well with kind of a questionable TP at the back. I'm not sure what happened, but I don't think you ever want to have your boss 1 carry Nature Prophet that has a Witchblade Maelstrom just TP to the back line and die in like 5 seconds. I think that's always like bad news.
Yeah, he did 300 damage the entire team fight. Compared to, like, you know, Gyro TA doing 3k damage, 4.5k damage. So he just teleported in and died, and that's, like you say, you're a top network hero, so. The BKB, that probably works out fine, but he's gotta wait for his team to be the ones, like the Timbersaw really, to go in before he goes for a teleport like that.
Yeah, but I feel like sometimes, right, when you get openings, like you kill the opponent Lion, right, suddenly you feel really excited and like really pumped because to you it's like you're not supposed to lose the fight anymore. And then you start to make these over-aggressive decisions, and maybe that's what happened there. I think Natsumi is going to be more careful with the next fight though. I think he understands under there.
Have Neon got the answers for this farm Gyrocopter? Because it feels like Raven's just getting everything he wants this game.
Yeah, I don't think that. I think at this point Fnatic are getting more and more comfortable with the game. Like the Gyro is way too rich at this point of the game. And yeah, they have nothing to scale against the Gyrocopter, I think. Like the Prophet stands no chance against this Gyrocopter. Especially because he has an IO.
Middle tower has fallen.
They don't really have the ideal heroes to jump on top of an IO. See, does feel like, yeah, OB Neon need to be considering what their next aggressive moves can be. They've pretty much got all their early game item timers. They've got a full Greaves on the Mirana. The only thing they're maybe missing is this BKB on Natsumi. It's about 1,000 gold away from.
Yep. Chapo is not really finding the kind of game that he really wants on the Invoker, buying a Vessel first item. He only has... He has 0 kills. Like, your Invoker has 0 kills at 20 minutes. I think you feel really bad right now, and yeah, Neon definitely need to find a way to open up the game by getting a favorable fight somehow.
Has had his name on every single kill with the assist, but yeah, only 6 kills in 20 minutes. That is, I think, not what you'd normally expect out of OB Neon when they're going for this kind of a draft.
Yep, it's definitely not what you're hoping for when you're playing the Invoker. You want to get kills because you're not really farming creeps. He's running around a lot, and he's not getting kills, so his net worth has been suffering. He doesn't even have his Midas yet in almost 20 minutes.
I guess I'm surprised because I thought this game would go I thought in this game OB Neon would be the ones going for kills while Fnatic farmed. It feels like it's been the opposite because Fnatic have more kills and OB Neon have more farm. How did that happen?
I think Fnatic has just been really good about who they chose to be the one to get initiated on. We constantly see it was a Bloodseeker with 4 stars they got initiated on. It was a TA mid lane with Refraction and an IO nearby. Like, Fnatic are really smart about not getting caught on their heroes by the initiation. And I think that's why Neon are finding it hard to find the openings, because Fnatic understand what are Neon's sources and what are their damage sources. And they put the right hero to deal with it. They don't just get caught on their Gyrocopter or their TA without Refraction.
And do you feel this gold lead, we see a 3k gold lead for OB Neon, is kind of misleading when you see how far in TA and Gyro are?
Yeah, it's definitely, this gold lead is like entirely on the Mirana, and your Mirana is not going to be able to do that much in this game, I think.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
But also, I guess one concern is, you mentioned the Bloodseeker. Death is very underfarmed. Like, he is looking more like a 4 position in terms of farm rather than a core.
Yeah. Like in this, like we discussed in the draft, this Bloodseeker last pick is more like, it was just, oh, hold on.
Real okay, bottom. They want that Sumi. Can he teleport out in time? They needed the save. They got it, the Impale.
Oh, Natsumi. No.
Instant smoke. I believe Dire may have seen the smoke. CTF. Yeah, he pops it, leaps away, but he's already been ruptured. He could be in some trouble himself. He's actually leaped into freeze. He got himself stuck. He gets hexed up. Lotus Orb is there to back him up. Okay, he almost survived his way through that one. What the plan there was for OB Neon. I think they saw the smoke and knew they were being ran at, but lingered around and got picked off.
I really think like something like that cannot happen on your carry Prophet. This hero depends so much on the snowball of the game. You can't have careless deaths like this because it really like falters, your timing really falters because you don't farm that quick, and the item timings are like really tight on this hero.
Obi Neon want to contest Roshan. It's okay. Dire killed Roshan. Radiant got the Aegis. Snatched by Chuan, but he was kind of the one going for it. He's going to pick up a Clockwork kill to go with it. Nice attempt from Obi Neon to steal the Roshan. They do get the gold for it, but
Blessings.
not they were hoping for. This Nature's Prophet BKB just taking a bit long to come online, and I don't know, I have to go back a bit to what you said. It doesn't really feel like this is a comfort hero for Natsumi the same way it was for CTM at the Singapore Major.
Yeah. Personally, it looks kind of like a night and day to me, because CTM's Prophet at the Major was something truly magical in my opinion. Like, the entire world was looking at it, and all the other teams, like even Secret tried to run it on Matu, right? And it didn't even look the same. Like Matu Merman, you know, killed one of the best carry players, couldn't even make this Prophet look as good as CTM made it. So I think CTM just made this hero look insane. But Natsumi, not so much, even though they are on the same team.
Neon not going to go down without some fight. They're still slightly ahead in gold, as we've mentioned, a bit misleading, but they're continuously looking to fight. They smoke up, even into the Aegis on TA. They know there's no BKB, so they think their timing is now, and it is. They've got the BKB on the Nature's Prophet. That's the item they've been waiting for so long. They had the Aegis initiation on the Bloodseeker. They're going to cog as well, but actually Bloodseeker still forces us a little bit further away. He gets the Rush Dropper as well, and with the IO heals on the Death, Death actually survives his way through it, killing off the Timbersaw. Forcing Obi Neon to run away. Nature's Prophet already committing the BKB, has to just TP on home. Terrible fight for Obi Neon. I think it looked like Daniel was trying to get the cogs pushed back, but accidentally trapped Bloodseeker inside rather than pushing him back.
Yep, the Tornado on the Invoker actually already clipped the relocate on the IO and cancelled the relocate, but they just barely had enough damage. Didn't have enough damage to kill the Bloodseeker. Again, I think we see... No, it's... I think again we're seeing Fnatic, right? Like Fnatic are not trying to start the fights. They just position well on the map. They know who is in danger, and they just sort of position behind the person. Like Death just positions himself to block the smoke. They turn on, but the DJ IO is already there, and they have the 4-staff to kite the spells. Like, it's just like textbook good play from Fnatic right now.
Now Raven is 14k net worth, full BKB completed, everything you could hope for on a gyrocopter. TA says, screw it, I don't need BKB, they're kind of ignoring me, and I can just position further back. Picks up a Crystallis instead, so more damage coming out for the TA. 6-0-3, we had some questions about how good his TA was going to be, and it's been fantastic.
Yeah, especially because he has an Aegis right now, so he feels that he can get a lot done with this Aegis. That's why he just buys Crystallis to hit a item timing during the Aegis. He borrowed up a Haste Rune. It's going to be quite important for the next fight.
Is there any kind of a plan B? Like, the Invoker Midas is kind of looking like, you know, that's basically saying this is kind of a plan B, but like, is this plan B? How much of a shot does it give kind of Obi Neon, like going late game here?
I think it's very rough on Neon, because the Invoker late game is not like what it used to be. Right now, the strong part about the Invoker is the Kata, but it's just countered by like 4-staffs. Like, all you need is like 2 4-staffs on your team, and good enough like players to press the 4-staffs before the Kata hits. The late game Invoker is already like hugely nullified ever since they removed the stun on the Deafening Blast.
They look to defend their top tier 2 tower, they TP in the Timbersaw. What's Ryu's plan here? Hook shot in, they go into the gyro, the Cog pushback is there with an arrow, they're going to blow up the gyro. Great play there, DJ couldn't get in to save him, he was on the backlines, but looks like, I think it's Atos maybe cancelled his relocate, jabs to the trees, can he TP out? No sirree, he's down as well. Great defense from Obi Neon. They win the fight, the relocate did end up going off, and DJ is going to come back in without any friends. 3 dead, great play. Bringing down the gyrocopter, not letting the IO keep him alive.
Yep, a small slip up by Fnatic to touch that tower without a clear plan in mind. Like they had the 4-staffs to break the chain stun, but they just didn't use it, I'm not sure. But CTM's arrow, like that caught pushed back into the arrow, like that was picture perfect by Neon.
I feel like after that last engagement, probably his teammates, and maybe even himself, were like, yeah, when you hookshot in, you cannot go, you have to do the Cox pushback. Right. You know, Clockworks go between, you know, do you just want to trap him or do you want to push him back?
Yeah, especially on the gyrocopter, because the gyrocopter has a BKB.
Yeah. Okay, goal difference now. Kind kind of consistently grow a little bit, largely because of this Mirana continuing to farm. CTM has a Greaves as well as a Glimmer Cape. I mean, how much of a difference does having a farm Mirana make compared to, you know, the enemy offlaner who's less farm than a support?
I mean, the farm has to mean something, right? And if we click on Mirana, he's going for a Solar Crest and has a Glimmer and a Guardian Greaves. And it's really about what these items do for his teammates and how strong these teammates actually are with these heroes. The issue I have with this game is that he's gonna buff up his Nature's Prophet, right? But I'm really not sure that this Prophet is gonna be able to man-fight the IO Gyro combination, plus the TA's Mel strikes. And they also have a Rupture on top of it if they want to. Like, you know, if they had more of a be-all end-all carry, maybe these buffing items would do a lot, but...
Prophet is starting to scale as we'll see both teams look to run into each other. Moonlight Shadow on the Dire, Radiant Pit smoke into this enemy jungle, but Fire in the neighborhood, they do see them. Yet the Observer Sentry combo, Mirana instantly leaps away. They'll look to turn and line up an arrow, not going to throw it immediately. Wait for initiation. Here comes the hook shot from Yanuel on the clockwork. Gets the hook, does get the cold pushback, but not the ideal way to start the fight. Io kind of panic relocates the TA back to safety. Clockwork perhaps overcommitted here. Back in the trees. Death on the Bloodseeker going to get brought down. They chase him all the way in. Buyback from Clock. Timbersaw, Nature's Prophet going to look to turn and fight. Natsumi pops the BKB, trying to hold his own and fight Raven, but there's no way. He wins this one. He goes for the TP, but he doesn't make it out. The BKB TP not going to work against the physical damage.
He almost barely got out. That was so close by Natsumi. He had to TP out like half a second earlier.
Something you kind of mentioned, yeah, was if that Gyro gets the BKB off, you cannot, like, Nature's Prophet can't really hold his own and just fight this Gyro.
Yeah, this Prophet has an AC, you know, he has an AC BKB, but he still dies as long as the Gyro and the TA are focused on him. It was already kind of a botched initiation by Fnatic, like Japs missed his stun on the Mirana, and the Mirana managed to leap away. But Neon, maybe that was a bit too keen by Janelle. He hooked into a TA, but his team wasn't really ready to follow up. The DJ reload save as well, saved the TA from the hook up.
Good defensive play from Fnatic, and this has really been the, I feel like, story with Fnatic. They're almost in every game we've seen them so far, the team happy to sit back and wait for their opponents to make moves, and then they just always have a good response at it.
Yep, I feel like Fnatic plays a lot of Dota based on like understanding how the fight needs to happen in the next fight. They don't just simply like turn off their brains and play, you know, and expect things to go well. That's why consistently we see them playing the fights in a good manner.
Tier 3 neutral items come out, something that OB Neon haven't quite picked up just yet. I guess Spider Legs, a Quickening Charm, and now good news is Radiant did not get any kind of Paladin Sword. I think that would be probably the worst neutral item for OB Neon to see their opponents get. Obviously, Fnatic would love to get one. Instead, it's the Elven Tunic, which is decent, but just not as good, I would say.
There's a Spider Legs on Neon. It's gonna get it.
Well, I don't really looking at Spider Legs, yeah, but for once it's like, actually, wait, is Spider Legs even that good for them?
So right now, Janelle is sharing it out to him.
Yeah. Well, it's the thing, it's not good on any of their cores, so the 5 position they're getting it, that's I mean, it's way better than this Broom Handle. He's happy.
Raven already has Skadi on his Gyro. This guy is pretty huge.
Yeah. They're gonna have to go for the IO on the supporting pass and then deal with the Gyro last. Roshan and Tempest going down. Radiant scans, they have an idea of what's coming their way. Death blocks and takes the arrow for the team as they're just Roshan. The hook shot. Oh, actually it's Chat blocking the hook shot in. I think Yanuel was going for an H field there, but ends up just giving away his life, unfortunately. And it's still, yeah, it's like they've still got a gold lead just purely because of Mirana. It just feels so funny just because, you know, gold leads be misleading, but usually it feels like Fnatic are so far ahead now with Aegis in their second Roshan in their hands, yet still they're behind on goal.
Yep, like based on the lineup, I understand that Neon has to kill the support, right? But like if you look at the lineup, the who can follow up with the damage onto IO. Like after they hook this IO, as long as the Lion falls
Reload.
out,
Coming in, they found Natsu. Abs with a one-man ganking mission. I don't think they're gonna have the physical damage here. Yeah, they can get vision. Actually, impale bomb happen. They're not going on mid. Relocate should be coming back in a second here, and Yopai's on the Invoke to just BKB run away, so it'll be Neon. Finding the opening for the relocate happen.
I think the relocate was maybe a bit slow because I'm pretty sure if they had a full chain stun from Lion, then they should be able to kill the.
Gotta be a little bit careful. They chain stun him well here. The nice double force up to get him away. They want to try and protect this Aegis so it doesn't get wasted here. Ooh, hook shot actually gets blocked by his own teammate. CTM in some trouble here. Has to leap back to the high ground. On Ryu. Gonna just be the tanky frontliner.
Yeah, important to note as well that the IO currently has a cheese on DJ. So yeah, the next fight is gonna be rough for Neon. They don't really have a single target damage aside from the Invoker and the Prophet. Even if the clock finds the initiation on the IO or not, they can even kill the IO. They don't really have that hard stun.
Yeah. And he may just cheat if they commit too much on him. Yeah, with the mech holy rocket cheese, his fling is getting out of control at this point.
DJ's IO, although he doesn't play that much anymore, but it still looks as formidable as it used to be. And he was playing in all the guys. DJ IO was quite a huge thing.
Top lane. Neon seeing what they can find, but probably just me backing off in a second. Actually, down bottom here, DJ just was trying to go for a TP out, but gets found by the hook. There we go. They do show they can kill this IO.
Yeah, of course, in such a scrappy situation. The issue is when it comes to a team fight. Like when the formation on Fnatic is proper, it's gonna be really hard for them to break the formation.
But like just okay, really good. Obi Neon utilizing the fact they have really good bit prompts. Here's TP, and they're like, okay, Sire's get him.
Obi actually planted a Tinkerbell top as well on the left side of the map. Maybe they're anticipating maybe they can catch the IO as well. Right, because the IO usually hides in the trees to step behind the paws, blow them out.
Is there a point where you feel this game, you know, super late game ever start to swing Obi Neon's way at all? Like if they continue to farm well across four heroes essentially getting farmed?
Not really. Especially because this Prophet, I'm now looking at him and he added the cooldown reduction instead of the 8 armor, so he's gonna scale as much as this TA and this Helicopter. And like sure, if maybe Yopash manages to get a hack and refresher and BKB and you know he manages to do some wombo combo that we put on YouTube, maybe they can get a good fight late game, but if that happens, like the game is for Neon.
You mentioned the Cataclysm being the late game power invoker. Usually it's picked with some kind of stuff, like obviously Faceless Void, the obvious one, but even things like a Dragon Knight with a long duration stun. Clockwork is just not reliable because of the 4-star, so it was like there's no setup for this Cataclysm.
Yep, maybe a Clockwork will be able to finally get an Aga late game, so if the 4-stars are not close by, he can stun the double shot. That's if the 4-stars are not close by.
I just need enemy parts of the map. Like, nothing much is going to come of it. Gyro getting close to being thick-slotted, though. Fnatic not using these Aegises to, like, really force any big fight, though. Is that the right call here? Do you think there was anything they could have done with the Aegis?
I think they still, like, even though they have if they have a Lion Hex, but if they initiate into Neon and they force their Lion and the IO to play at the front line of the fight, right? If they are the ones initiating, the fight is still not completely safe for them. I think they much rather have a fight where, like, the whole early game, right, where Neon are the one initiating into them. I feel then it's so easy for Fnatic to fight. And I mean, to me, they're in no hurry. I think this Gyro still has so much room to grow. He can finish. He can buy the Aga Blessing. He can buy like a rapier.
I will say from my experience, like as a support player, like when I played Lion and you're like the only stunner initiation, it doesn't feel good because you don't want to be blinking in aggressively because you're just going to die most of the time. So it does feel like Fnatic are limited when it comes to starting fights, because if Lion dies at the start of a fight, they have no lockdown for the rest of the fight.
Yep, and I think this is a point where inexperienced players will make the argument that, you know, I have the initiation, we have the damage, why not we start a fight, right? But experienced players have played this game enough to know how like all their heroes scale, and they sort of measure the risks, right? They do a risk evaluation in their minds about how the next fight needs to look, and unless they see a fight that meets their threshold of what risk they want to take, they just don't, and they just chill and just scale, and they just wait for the next Roche, take the next Aegis, and just play a good clean game.
That's what Fnatic are doing, but at the same time, OB Neon with a lot of good answers to it. They're split pushing both mid and top lane really well. The Nature's Prophet Treants take the tier 2 tower top, the Aghanim Shard. Mid lane they're cutting the mid wave with the Invoker Fort Spirits. He used a Meteor as well, so feels like OB Neon, while they're in a tough spot and they are at a disadvantage here, they're making a lot of good moves.
Yeah, they're keeping up in terms of the farm, but this
Look at Prophet, they're getting high ground.
Yep, he has a shot on the...
Yeah, and the creeps are in, so they're just gonna get a power here. Get it down to 9 health.
Yeah, I'm sure the calls on Fnatic, at least some of them, is considered by a travel so that they can consistently go and push lanes, and they can play with the relay, and the Lion can start to smoke up and get picked up. Like they need to start playing the map better. Like because Neon are trying to dodge them right now, and Fnatic are stronger in fights. But yeah, maybe Fnatic needs to stop sticking together so much, kind of getting like outfarmed on the map.
Maybe Neon at least feel okay with some of how this game has developed. All 4 core heroes essentially at this point continue to scale. Like Mirana's got an Aeon Disc coming, but with all the farm that she's got, Invoker late game with the Aghanim's Refresher, so even if there's not the best setup for a Cataclysm, double Cataclysm in a chaotic teamfight could still just blow somebody up if you're not ready for it.
Yep. To add to my point earlier, like I wanted to say that if they want to split up on the map, I'm talking about Fnatic, to push out the map more effectively, they probably need to get a gem and deward all the wards before they split up, because if not, their core heroes are just going to get picked off on the side lanes, and that's exactly what they did. They bought a gem on Gems, and they dewarded the mobs in their triangle. So now Neon have way less information about trying to catch the cores, and Fnatic can start to push out the lanes effectively.
See how OB Neon handle this one. Feels like they've got plenty of vision tools themselves with the Clockwork Rocket Flares. They've just done a good job at avoiding any kind of potential Fnatic aggression. Fnatic though are smoked up and seeing what's behind here. Both teams going to be probably playing around this Roshan. The Roshan 3 with a Refresher Shard. I think especially if OB Neon get their hands on it for the Invoker with the Aghanim Scepter.
Yep, so now here begins the macro play. Is Fnatic gonna just force this, or is Fnatic gonna try to catch this Prophet that's gonna be sitting? Prophet, all he's gonna do is pushing in bot lane, force the Prophet onto the bot Rex, while they dance around the Roche pit. It's like Fnatic's gonna force.
Yep, they're in the pit, and this bottom lane kind of pushing, but there's TA traps, so TA traps can actually take out these creep waves. I like this move from Fnatic, recognizing a way to handle the split push.
Yep, that's really smart.
This Roshan.
They are leaving now. They are feeling kind of nervous about this.
Yeah. Soldier Sword on the homing missile will send it back Raven's way. See, Fnatic leaves this Roche area. They've got to be careful because they did get Roche down to about half health, but there's still a couple TA traps down bottom to deal with any kind of split push. So imagine Fnatic would just stick around this pit. And you mentioned boots of travel. Tron has them. So TA goes bottom to push it out and has the boots of travel to rejoin his team.
Yep, Nature Prophet actually has level 25 as well, so this bottom is just gonna be... He added the TP CD. He doesn't have the CD on his TP anymore.
You like that more than the buff?
Wait, what?
You like From the buff treants. Oh, hold back on that, but there's a big road fight going on. Imbecile chaining on through to get some vision of what's going on. Clockwork hooks in, but Rojan is still alive, so perhaps it was early, but Natsumi goes charging in with the BKB TP. He's out as the agents from the Jericho. Here's the Cataclysm raining havoc on everybody. There's only one though. Nature's Prophet gonna die once. Is there a respawn? Doesn't have the same panic as a BKB when he comes to life, but he doesn't get a chance. He gets instantly impaled. Natsumi is dead. No chance to BKB. And Obi Neo haven't found a single kill in this fight. Despite still in the Roshan, they're in all sorts of trouble. Yopaj on the Invoker gets silenced up, and Nature's Prophet fighting back. The Melt Trick on an Invoker, Yopaj goes down. And now Onryu on the Timbersaw, he's in trouble. He's going to load us away with a Flicker. That's going to help. He's going to Oh, the back door. Nature's Prophet is going to have to BKB TP home. Luckily, BKB, because